I guess the main things I want to point out from there, we start with some violins, and again, I'm using BBC Symphony Orchestra. One of the things I like to do, even though you may or may not need to do this all the time, but panning the violins or panning the entire orchestra so that it creates this overall stereo field and emphasizing the positions of these different instruments, I find adds again to the realism, makes it sound a bit more like it's in an actual hall. Also, one of the things I did was I added just a little bit of EQ to brighten the strings a bit more so that high end really comes through with the narration on top, and you want them to complement each other nicely and not be drowning out one another or clashing with one another. And then lastly, even though they've already got reverb on them by default, I've added a little bit of Valhalla Vintage Verb concert hall setting, so it's just a tiny bit, 13%. This just adds that a little bit more realism. I find that it sounds a bit more like a hall than with just the default reverb.